Oh, let's unmute ourselves. Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Howdy.
Welcome. Oh, good morning to you, Jen. Very good evening to the other Jen. It's quite late for her. This is just this is the title of the stream is pretty self-explanatory, really. A bit of an impromptu one to help relieve some of the lockdown boredom. Of course, it's the last day of it for me personally tomorrow, so I'm back to work. We'll be but we'll just try and get through today, I think, and just have a little talk, I suppose. I guess if we're going to start anything off here, you want to talk about the big news that's come out of the UK today?
Oh, what came out of the UK today? I've been sidetracked most of the time.
Okay, UK government has approved Pfizer and BioNTech COVID vaccine for rollout next week.
Yeah,
It's probably the big news.
I did see that, and I have to query that because, I mean, they really haven't done that much back-end testing on these drugs yet.
I am.
Well,
it is very quick. This is very quick to be rolling out.
They've been doing safety tests with lots of 30,000 people at a time.
Yeah.
These are not tiny tests. They're double blind.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but the long-term look at things like this can't be found in a few months. It's taken them. It took them most of the year to develop a drug in the first place, so you've only got a couple of months of actual testing of these drugs to get any idea about them. And the long-term effectiveness, it just is not known, and long-term side effects. So, I mean, this is the reason why drugs take so long to come to market generally in the first place, is that we take precautions. We're careful with what we do with these with vaccines and other medications. And I realize that we have to do something about COVID, but if you throw caution to the wind, we could actually end up creating a problem that's worse than the disease.
Well, the final stage of testing is oriented to safety, as in are people going to drop dead when they take this? More than anything else. I understand about the long-term efficacy, but what concerns everybody more initially is, are people going to drop dead if they take this?
I guess I'll just try to pull up here got one article up. I think it's from Wales Online. It's why has this come about so quickly? And obviously, they've tried to condense the timetable because of the immediate need for this. And traditionally, it takes several years, including to actually develop a vaccine. It does look like the process looks slightly different because of the process does look slightly different here. But while the early sign looked very similar to clinical trial phases, have overlapped instead of taking place sequentially, which is a bit different. So this is a bit different. But now I said, will it mean that safety is compromised? Even though some of the phases of the clinical trial process have run parallel rather than to one another, the safety checks have still been the same as they would for any new medicine, according to Medicines Healthcare Regulatory Authority, which is obviously the people who've okayed this.
Yeah.
So regulators said that they will rigorously assess the data and evidence on the vaccine safety, quality, and effectiveness, and in most
See, I'm not against what the companies are doing. I think that they're good to expedite their studies and try and get us closer to the vaccine. So, my concern is government regulation and not the companies themselves. As Chad says, they do actually understand what they're doing when they're working on the protein chains, etc. I mean, and this is a modification of another vaccine to help work with COVID-19. So I get that. But what I don't like is the fact that we've got governments which, in a normal circumstances, would be going to these companies and back checking, querying very deeply whether or not they've done enough studies. Have they sorted everything out? That this would be really forced through ethics committees and everything. How fast they push these through, but because it's COVID. And because so many countries want to get back to normal very quickly, mostly because a lot of countries fucked it up and didn't deal with it properly in the first place, and are urging all their bets on
and the UK has been one of the worst. I mean, probably
exactly.
only
and 1.7 people per minute are dying.
No, I agree.
Okay, and that's just America. Now add the rest of the world to that.
Now, if there is a mistake in this, you could find the cure is worse than the disease.
It's a vaccine for a. It's I know it's not a flu virus, but it's.
And I'm not being anti-vax here at all.
We're not talking about something like a biologic or something that like a psych med that is going to be getting deeply involved with systems it shouldn't touch and can really fuck a person up. It's just not as dangerous of a situation than a lot of drugs that are out there. I'm completely confident in both the drug companies and the government on this one.
Okay,
I think I agree with you with the companies because they don't want to fuck up their entire livelihoods. It's the governments.
I just want Sam, because Sam hasn't sort of said anything on this yet. I want Sam to give Sam a chance to say something.
So, in terms of how they're going to do it, they have, I think, 50 hospital hubs ready to distribute them. They have said that they don't want pregnant women taking the vaccine. And then they've said that in order, the people who are going to get them is residents in care homes, people aged 80, people 80 plus, and social care and healthcare workers. Then everyone 75 and up, then everyone 70 and up, and then those who are extremely vulnerable. Then everyone 65 and up, then anyone 16 to 64 with underlying health issues, then everyone 60 and up, then 55 and up, then 50 and up. And then these groups cover at least 90% of those at risk dying of COVID, according to the JCVI.
See, I'm with Chad here. I'd want to see all the data before you went and go, let's give this a go.
Yeah.
So this is. I mean, I think it is right to have a little bit concerned about just how quickly this has been come about. Just because we know normally it takes a couple of years to really roll out something like this, and this has been done in like 8 months or something. And
to put that into perspective, though, a lot of these drug companies basically stopped working on anything else just to focus on this. They needed to focus on it.
The amount of effort that's been put into this is phenomenal.
It just goes to show what can be done when you throw enough money at something. But my concern is governments, especially when you hear things like what the orange head freak says. You've got governments pinning their entire hopes on this and wanting to push it very, very fast onto the public.
Oh yeah.
When I'm not sure that we've seen all the data from it yet.
I mean, our health secretary has gone ahead and said that the vaccine is the thing that will get us working.
Yeah, that was Hancock, wasn't it, earlier today?
Yeah, I think so. And then he said, and I quote, "This is a day to remember and a year to forget." Which, while I agree with this sentiment, in in a parliamentary meeting feels a bit off.
Yeah. See, my concern comes from when you hear, and even our government in Australia did the same thing. Well, as soon as the vaccine's there, we're going to disseminate it. We're going to put it out there. As soon as it's ready, the speed at which the governments wanted to disseminate this up front pushed the companies even harder. And yes, they were pushing for the general good of people and the world and everything, and it's a good thing. But I
under
think the
pressure mistakes happen.
Yeah, under pressure mistakes happen, and this thing has been all about pressure, and now it's pressure to get it out there very quickly, and that concerns me.
So what should we do instead?
It's saying what they're going to.
I'm not sure, Jen, but I am thinking.
And what they are saying is that it's going to be like a rolling review of a rolling review of the vaccine data started several months ago, and that they'll. This means they're going to. I mean, it looks like they're going to have to do like constant. If they're going to push it out this quickly, they're going to have to do very regular reviews on this. Because
Chad's asked for a link.
Fortunately for you, all you guys,
who's asked for a link? Sorry,
people like me are going to guinea pig it for you.
I've got it.
Okay, cheers.
I was expecting kind of people my age to be fairly high up on the testing list because it's less likely things will go wrong. But I, even with my health conditions, appear to be kind of sixth on the priority list, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, we have had all these lot come out today. We have had that. We have had the tinfoil hat out in force today.
Oh, I mean, shit! I'm glad I didn't.
This is dribble. This is not an anti-vaccine concern that we have. It's not that we think this.
To be fair, I don't think this is what Tusk is saying. He's just saying that something he watched today. So
what she's no, but what I'm saying is the concerns any of us have aren't about being anti-vax. We want this vaccine as much as anyone.
Nobody from Cardiff would ever make things up,
See, the thing is that I'm now really glad I didn't make a joke I nearly did on Twitter this morning because someone said, "Why are you neurotypical? Why are you neurodivergent? Wrong answers only." And I nearly put, "I got bitten by a radioactive COVID vaccine." And so I'm really glad I didn't say that now.
You should have said a radioactive spider.
Yeah.
It does concern me the way that we're rushing this. It's almost like we've got something we're pretty sure is working from the current data we have. Let's roll it out slowly to different areas of the public, and if it doesn't work, well, it can't kill any more people than the virus is.
It is the virus. Well, pretty much.
Yeah. But...
Oh, hold on. I believe we have Chad. We have Chad in the back here.
Aha, hello,
Chad.
I think we got Chad.
Hey, Chad.
Hey.
Hi, Chad.
Hey, Chad.
Oh. You've caught me in my smoking shit again. So what are we talking about?
Vaccines.
So talk to us, wise, educated one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just on my phone, fortunately. Yeah, in terms of the vaccines, I'm just generally not concerned. Just because I personally know a lot of people who have worked in public health, my mother being among them. When the, which one was it? H1N1, I think it was. When H1N1 vaccine was going around, I was actually part of the logistics and planning the clinics for vaccinating people during the H1N1 pandemic. So knowing the people who actually work in public health and how closely they scrutinize the data, in addition to how many people scrutinize the data, there's no nurse that's going to stick somebody in any health system that I know with a vaccine they don't trust. So I know they're doing their homework on these things, and given that it's based on. Sorry, go ahead.
My concern with it is that because I don't know, and obviously this is me not knowing things and being concerned, is it how much people might be trying to extrapolate from the data because they're hopeful because this year's been shit.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way.
Oh, I know. I'm just
Although
concerned
it
about how
does.
much people
I
might be
mean-
trying to.
Yeah.
It is not unknown. It is not unknown in clinical trials and in other scientific data for the people who are doing the work to look into the figures incorrectly, to see something
That's true.
there that there is not, and that is a known problem because we start with it's a human problem because we start with preconceived ideas and we come out with something from the data that actually isn't there. So that is a possibility. Sam's not wrong there, Jen.
So
It
I'm
does
hoping
happen.
No,
I'm
I
hoping
don't. I
it's
don't
not
disagree. I don't
there.
disagree with that. But this is, I mean, everybody who's involved with this is aware that they are being scrutinized
sorry.
by everybody on the planet.
Oh yeah,
This
and
is
I'm
there
hopeful
is no
it's not
conspiracy.
happened.
There is
Oh.
no conspiracy going on here.
No, I don't think there's a conspiracy
No,
about
no,
it, Jen.
No,
No, this is not a conspiracy. I don't think anybody's actively doing it. I think it's a possibility in the rush to get this on. People might be seeing things in the figures that aren't there that a bit more due diligence would show. And if that meant waiting a couple more months to make sure you get a bit more data out of the clinical trials than we're at now, I think that would be worth it.
I think it's completely unfair for anybody to stand in our position as essentially lay people who are not involved with any of the process of development of this to stand here and question whether or not these people have done their due diligence. I'm sure they have.
and
I'm
that's
not
why
saying
they
they
are-
didn't do their due diligence. I'm
That's why I
saying they may
prefaced
not
it.
have.
Then why haven't any of the 30,000 people who have had it and been in any of the testing programs dropped dead?
This was why I prefaced it, Jenny, with
Yeah.
that I
No.
do not know, and that is where my concern comes from. And it's less for short-term effects and more for long-term effects.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know the efficiency.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in terms of any vaccine that comes out of, well, anything that comes out of like Pfizer or other companies like that are based in, well, either North America or Europe, I don't have a problem with their things. The Sputnik vaccine is a different beast altogether. I wouldn't trust that thing. That's a whole other beast.
The Russian
vaccine
thing?
that
No.
China, Russia's, the Russian vaccine, Sputnik vaccine. That's a different thing altogether. I would look at those numbers carefully, but based on the number of people, scrutinizing the data, see, as somebody who's kind of worked in the sciences, my impression is that even though they're really, really excited, nobody wants to fuck this up. I mean, if you're the first to say, "Hey, I have a vaccine," and then it doesn't work, your company's gone. And based on how big these companies are, I don't think they're going to be playing that game, especially with investors being the way they are.
You are talking about some of the real big ones here, like Pfizer and BioNTech. You're talking about some very big companies here.
Moderna.
Oh, yeah, and it's not good. I don't think it would be enough to stop me getting vaccinated if it came up. That is just a concern I have.
I was just saying what Donna's put. I mean, I imagine Donna, with the line of work you're in, you're going to have to. I think, so.
And I totally get that.
Donna's, it's obviously she's very much on the front lines of this.
Yeah.
She's
a modern day hero.
My doctor has pretty much promised me that I will die if I get it. So I'm interested in getting the vaccine as soon as fucking possible.
I guess the question is, okay, I'm gonna.
And we've lost Chad temporarily.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cut my cam and hopefully again. I had some issues with my laptop. The screen kind of got. Yeah, my laptop kind of got busted, so I'm working off my phone and it's limited. So we'll see if this is even coming through. Hello.
We hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
We'll miss your beautiful face, but we can hear you.
Yeah.
I'll have to update my avatar, I suppose, or get an avatar. But yeah, I guess the question really is, do we think the vaccine is political? And how isolated are these two different entities, the political pressure for the vaccine and the pressure of the people actually developing it?
See, I think is the vaccine political and is the vaccine production political are two separate questions. Is the vaccine political? It shouldn't be, but it is. Is the production
Yeah.
political?
How do you say that it's political? What? How do you define that?
I see that as political because a lot of my Tory friends are very skeptical about the vaccine specifically, on no basis. Like, I have my concerns about it, but nowhere near the shit they're saying.
I'm not going to let myself be influenced by people who absolutely deny science in every respect,
I think,
on every angle they possibly can.
I think what, obviously the thing is how much political pressure is being put on to get something out quickly. Because I'll just look at the British government. I'm sure like most governments are, but the British government is very much under fire right now. They're not, there is going to be pressure because everyone's getting fed up now. Everyone wants things to go back to normal.
both.
And I think that and in a way, like just the fact that they're so all of a sudden, all of a sudden, like they want to, offer people, the hope that this is going to be over in like a few months or whatever. So I get in that respect, there's going to be political pressure on there to get something out quickly,
and there has been. We've seen it,
and that's what the concern is has it been done at the expense of? I'm not qualified enough to say, in all honesty. But
no, I'm not.
I think that there is sufficient pressure that it won't matter that it's political. Like John Ashworth and Matt Hancock, who are the Shadow Health Secretary and Health Secretary, respectively, for the UK, have both come out and said that it's important to get them, and both of them have said that they want to get the vaccinated alongside Piers Morgan as a show of solidarity, which is an interesting choice of person, but I appreciate the sentiment.
I'm just going to respond to what Tuska said in the chat there, that if I only wish, they might not be as organised, but we did have quite a large demonstration of
anti-maskers
and anti-vaxxers. Or if we lost Chad,
oh dear,
I'll keep my eye out for him. I'm sure I'll pop back in a minute. We had quite a large demonstration of them in Trafalgar Square at the weekend, which is like, no social distancing whatsoever. I mean, I know there was a lot of them. It actually ended up a lot of them got arrested for violating the blooming rules on it. There was about 180 odd arrests. But I remember one of the chants was, "You can stick your fucking vaccine up your ass," like that was one of the things they were chanting.
Problem too. There's not much point in having the vaccine if you don't make it compulsory.
Yeah.
Not in terms of spread, but in terms of individual protection, there will be. When I get it, I will be protected.
We already know that the vaccine is only 95% efficient, effective according to current studies, and it could be worse than that. And there's the possibility it's only functional for up to 3 to 6 months.
I was going to say, isn't it? Its half-life very short for a vaccine as well.
It is. It's very short for a vaccine.
Plus, there's 8 strains, something like that. Plus, there's 8 strains of COVID going around now, anyways.
Yep. Yeah. And there's that new one that came out of the minks.
There's an outbreak of that in Denmark, wasn't there?
Yep. And that particular strand of COVID is resistant to all the current vaccines. So even if you get the vaccine, there's no guarantee it's going to cover you. That's not to say you don't have it. My point being is that if you don't legislate to make everyone have it, who can have it, you don't get the herd immunity, and these other strains will keep coming back and pushing through, and we will end up with exactly the same problem.
I mean, it's
Well,
a bit
then
like
I believe that the people who choose not to get vaccinated are going to be the ones who die first, and that's just fine. They're a problem anyways.
see, I think it's a bit like a condom. It's useful and it's good, but it can still have holes in it and it can still rip.
I
Yeah.
don't see Chad back here yet.
Or as a cousin of mine once said, condoms are like walking in this through the sand with socks on.
Yeah. Now, my understanding is the UK government have ordered 40 million doses of this, which is they said should vaccinate up to what they said something like 20 million people. So it looks like it's sort of like dose every 6 months or whatever, and they are obviously going to go for the 20 million most vulnerable first. Now, obviously, even if this thing works, by the time it's going to take an awful long time for it to us to actually get anything resembling any kind of herd immunity, and it looks like it's something. If it's if it's something that's going to, like I said, you're going to have like a booster every 6 months or something.
Yep.
And I mean, and I got to hold my hand up. I don't know enough about this particular vaccine. I should really pay a bit more attention to it because I don't know if it's one that I can have or not because of I can only have inactive vaccines. I can't have active ones, so I don't know whether it's an active or inactive. I don't know enough about it. That's but
So this is an RNA vaccine. And quite interestingly, they've got a diagram which is pretty much a diagram I saw in high school biology in this BBC post about it. So at least they're trying to teach people about what the fuck it actually does. But it basically is a bit of the virus's genetic code coated in fat. So that it can enter the body, but can't. What's the word I'm looking for? It won't be then effective as a vaccine. Yeah. And so it enters the cells, and the cells effectively then produce these spikes from the coronavirus virus, but not the effects of it, as best I understand. But that's obviously something to read up on.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely something. I sort of understood from what I had read, it wasn't like a vaccine in the sort of traditional sense of that term. But like I said, I really probably should read a bit more about this. But I think as it's probably is the biggest news story, certainly in my country today, if not in the world. I don't know, but it's certainly it looks like very much that we are the first country that's actually going to roll something out. But it's certainly in the Western world anyway. But it does make you wonder because, as I said, when it comes to countries that have handled this badly, I mean, probably only the United States has been worse than Britain.
Yeah, like the US is 4 times worse than us, but I think we're twice as bad as the next European country.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was hilarious at the start of this thing. I mean, there were people mocking Italy, and it's like, and because Italy got hit way before we did, and it was really hit Italy bad. Italy's response to it, in hindsight, was damn like brilliant compared to ours.
Oh yeah,
I think it's Chad having internet issues. I don't know.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
Hi, Kitty.
So
my biggest concern, I think, with the vaccine is people like my nana not taking it because mark of the beast, something.
no, yeah, this is
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out my internet situation. I think I'm good now. Everything was right choppy before, so.
Fair.
What'd I miss?
I was just commenting that I'm slightly concerned about a decent chunk of people shouting "Mark of the Beast" and trying not to take the vaccine.
And then Jen and Jeff joined in and said they've changed their mind that they're going to take the vaccine.
I never said I wouldn't take the
Well,
vaccine.
Hey, we weren't
Yeah.
taking
I
it.
just said it concerns me. I certainly won't be in the first batch because I don't think I'm at
Yeah.
as much risk as other people. You know, especially as
Yeah.
where I am in Western Australia, where we don't have a high incidence of it at all.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, in Australia, the first rounds are all going to medical professionals anyway, and the elderly.
Same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
In
so-
Canada, it's
in the
going to
first,
be.
in the
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead, Chad.
I was just going to say in Canada, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be care home workers, medical professionals, and that's basically your first line.
Yeah.
We really haven't rolled out anything beyond that yet, but that seems to be more or less the standard.
Here they're talking medical professionals, which really only makes sense. And then after that, people who are in nursing homes, because that seems to be such a
hotbed.
cesspool of viruses. And then people like me who are at risk.
Yeah.
So I may still be waiting till March or April.
I mean, I'm not saying no one should take it. It just concerns me. Is my point. I
Yeah,
have
I think-
concerns.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I
don't
understand
take
that.
it.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
I
I
think
I
will
have
take
concerns.
the vaccine given the opportunity. I do have concerns, though. You can have
Yeah.
concerns and acknowledge that this is still the best course of action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, it maybe not so much for where I live because Australia has a lot of it under control now.
Same here.
But
My part of the country.
and yeah, the
anyways.
same for Canada. But for the UK and for the US, where you've got thousands of people dying every day, then there's a risk. There's a risk
it's a risk reward
assessment. Their risk reward assessment there, and even if there is a problem with the vaccine, you're probably dealing with populations where it's still going to be better than the alternative of letting it keep going. And yet, for where I am, that's not the case.
Through the first surge.
So we'll let you guys try it.
In my little rural county here, we had 2 cases of COVID and no deaths. And the big city county next door across the river had several hundred cases and 1 death.
Yeah, and here in Nova Scotia,
This time
we're
around,
still
our county
contact
is in
tracing,
the
so.
hundreds and hundreds. It's like almost 1,000 have come down with it
Yikes.
in my county, which is, I mean, we got towns here that are 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. I think the biggest population in our county is like 12,000 people in one city.
See,
We still call
1,000,
4,000 people.
That's a big number, and people scared. And everybody here has been wearing their masks and being good about it.
well, here in Nova Scotia, we've just recently lost our Atlantic bubble. So when you say Canada's not doing too bad, depends on what part of Canada. Nova Scotia in particular, we just basically had our bubble breached in some sense. So we've been getting cases for the past 2 weeks, but we were basically clean before that. Right now we're getting, I think, we're still able to contact trace, and I think we're getting about 12 people a day diagnosed. Nobody's dying. So here in Nova Scotia, but in our largest city, we are about 500,000 people. So, but that being said, we have one large city. Yeah. So, but we've been really good, like mandatory masks since the beginning. No travel into the Atlantic provinces unless you quarantine yourself for 14 days.
14.
Actually, yesterday there was a group of 19 people who were breaching the COVID restrictions, and they all were fined I think $1,500 or something like that. So we've been taking this very seriously since the beginning. We've got a lot of elderly population in Nova Scotia. It's kind of where people are born and they leave Nova Scotia and come back here. So it's.
I thought you were going to say it's kind of where people are born old.
In some sense, yeah, but I'm kind of an old soul. But
what is your moose infection rate? No, I'm sorry.
my moose infection rate? As far as I know, the moose are fine.
Okay.
So long as we're not getting on with any pangolins, we should be okay.
Well, the best response I've had to this. So I put a little sarcastic. Well, I put a sarcastic thing on Facebook and Twitter today, which I hold my hand up. I did plagiarize completely from someone else, and it was like,
Hopswatch is in the chat.
"Hey, Hops, how are you,
Hello.
my man?" But
Hi, Hops.
Like,
but it was sort of along the lines of, well, on one hand, there's experts and saying that this, and virologists saying that this is an extraordinary breakthrough. On the other hand, though, Stephen Milton Keynes has watched I Am Legend and said this is how the zombie apocalypse gets started, which is obviously a clear joke.
yeah.
But when I
Well-
get responses like, where is it? It's a very simple one, tagging me saying, you need to listen to David Icke. There is no virus.
Oh dear.
That's
course
when
he is.
just when you realize that there's
Definitely a virus.
there is just dumb fuckery afoot. That
Yeah,
people
I mean,
that
you say that such and so from Milton Keynes would say that, but in fairness, someone from Milton Keynes might say that.
yeah. Generally though, you know when someone quotes David Icke to you, it's just like do the damn opposite. This is a good rule of thumb.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, there's a man who's a waste of oxygen.
There's no shortage of pylons among us.
He was a very good sports commentator back in his day. I will give him that.
Well, he's definitely excitable.
I will not give him that because I never saw any of his stuff from that, so I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, hello. I believe we have a kitty.
Hi, Kitty.
Hello, how's everybody?
So,
Yeah.
Lovely. How's you?
I'm doing okay.
That's good.
Saw you guys live and I'm awake, unfortunately.
That's why I sent you the link. I haven't been in chat with you for ages.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time I've had you on my channel, isn't it, Kitty? So
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
I thought you were pretty much dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice, Kitty.
I
I didn't say wishing.
And Kitty
I've
now
been-
leaves, disgusted with the paddle.
I've just been self-isolating everywhere. No, actually, I started playing this game called Genshin Impact, and a friend of mine that I haven't talked too much for like the past 2 years is playing it. So every night I come home and we hop on Discord and play this game together. So I haven't been doing anything but that really, and working.
Genshin Impact's supposed to be quite good, but I've not actually played it.
I love it. It's really good. Yes,
Did he
we should hops.
Yeah.
We keep talking about it. We keep like 2 ships in the
Yeah.
night type thing. So I posted a question. Is this Mark of the Beast thing something that's supposed to be voluntary and required to be voluntary? Because I don't understand. I don't understand it.
You mean in terms of what the Christians think it's going to be?
Right. Well, because like somebody shared this meme TikTok where this girl, she's playing 2 characters and one of them says she's not ready to die and she accepts the injection and a chip is implanted. And the other one,
yes.
you've seen this, right? The other one rejects the chip and they were like, well, you know that if you don't take this chip, you'll be killed. And then it shows them like beating the crap out of her. And then I'm miming that they're beating the crap out of her. And I'm like, why would they beat the crap out of her? Just give her the injection.
So
Do these people realize that a chip needs about an 8-gauge needle to be injected?
Yeah.
Well, that too. But like, why would they go through the trouble of taking this woman or anyone who rejected this Mark of the Beast thing and beating them? Just tie them down and inject the chip in them and be done with it. Why is it?
So the Christians have this big persecution complex about the day when people will start having the Mark of the Beast. Is it on their hand and face or something, or on the hand and forehead? And so then you get a bunch of conspiracy theories popping up around that single statement. And various things have been thought to be the Mark of the Beast throughout the years, and now it's RFID chips is your big one.
To be honest, an RFID chip wouldn't be terribly useful in someone's forehead.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't even be
No.
particularly useful in someone's hand, except for maybe like.
No, it depends. If you're at the scan to get in things, on the back of your hand might not be too bad. Except you're more likely, because there's not as much fatty tissue there to protect it, you're more likely to break it.
I was going to say it'll just break in your hand.
It's not going to be useful
I'm just thinking about
anywhere for anything
idiocracy. I'm just
other
thinking about
than
idiocracy and get my name not sure.
it's not going to be
Yeah.
good for
Yeah.
anything except receiving a message from it with a scanner. An RFID chip is a passive device.
Yeah,
Oh, I had-
Exactly. I mean,
everyone
Now, that being
assumes though
said-
that it's active, and I don't know why.
well, that
I
being
had- I
said,
had seen this thing-
a passive device with an identification number can be correlated with a number of databases, but those databases don't exist. So, bleh.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw something where apparently one of these tech companies had, instead of giving their employees like ID badges to scan in, they had suggested if you wanted to, you could have a chip put in your hand so that you would walk up to the door and ding it and it would let you into your office. And people were going ape shit about it. And I'm just like, it's voluntary.
Well, now
You don't
that
even-
I
you
think
don't
they
even
should
need
go
that.
ape shit about. That's an employer trying to control the very moment to moment existence of their people while they're on the job, and that is a whole level of
That's punch clock
freakish
bullshit.
control over people that needs to not exist.
You can have wide angle induction RFID chips that it's still tiny. That you don't have to inject on the hand. As long as they were injected in your body, they'd be picked up by the scanner. It's the power of the scanner that makes the difference, not so much the chip.
Yep.
At that point, so I mean, I've worked with RFID chips, so
I've actually
So
had to
it-
teach a few people how RFID chips work because we covered it in computer science, and then I heard one of my friends talking about how he was concerned about the mark of the beast thing, and it was just like, okay, listen, here's how it actually works.
Right, but that's just the evil people story. That's what they tell you. That's what they want you to think.
Oh yeah, and most Christians I know would probably think that I'm one of the people behind the mark of the beast because pagan.
it's a ridiculous argument anyway. So what are you going to say if you didn't want something like that? If it became a thing that people wanted people to, if you could get RFID chips in, you'd say that it would be easier to get, entry to places that you've got permission for and stuff like that, so you don't have to carry around pass cards or keys or whatever all the time. So they're going to say that's a bad thing, but you carry around ID anyway to get in places and to do things. It's just
carry your
another
phone
form of
around.
ID.
Right.
If they
Your
wanna
phone
track
gives you,
they
in
don't
principle,
need-
geolocate.
Your phone is way worse than an
24 hours a
RFID.
day. So,
Yeah.
and I carry 2 of these things around with me. So,
Not only that, your phone also watches all the crap you do.
yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
Gotta love cookies. That way they can keep track of all the wonderful things you Google and suggest things from. What's that weird one?
we made
Wish-
cookies for
Wish, I
you
think.
to make your browsing easier.
That was
Mhm.
I hate cookies.
Yeah,
I keep
only-
getting I hate cookies. I keep getting these ads for ball gags.
yeah. Well, my
Clear
Well, the
browser
old-
history. Clear cache.
the old joke actually, you know what, Colin? You just reminded me. Actually, I was meant to hit Slim up a while ago. So I was going to have him on the channel. Actually, I need to hit him up again because unfortunately, I had a bereavement and I ended up taking a bit of a break from YouTube for a while. But I need to get him onto Slim. Actually, thanks for reminding me.
Oh, that sounds like an interesting conversation.
Slim's awesome. Slim is awesome.
Yeah, I don't get why people have a problem with it. It's just another form of ID, just like all the other forms of ID we have. I mean, the
that's
people who complain about this use their phone to pay bills.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it would be a perfect skit for somebody to be like, to do their hair up in like a typical what you would expect from a Mark of the Beast conspiracy theorist, sitting there on their phone going, "You sure you don't want to do that? That'll get you the Mark of the Beast. Hold on just a second. I gotta pay my bill."
I think Vesta has. I think Vesta's identified it. Yeah.
Well,
They're on the head.
it's the new
They're
brown shirt.
definitely on the head.
As I said in the chat earlier, I don't know much at the Mark of the Beast, but I do know the Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden is a really good record.
No, unfortunately, the red hats become the brown shirt, so it's a scary thing these days. I'm worried about Georgia, quite frankly, but here we go.
I'm trying.
We don't
to
have any
figure out a
Americans on the
way.
panel, so do we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have a
You-
Georgian
you-
on the
you
panel
got-
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
two
Georgian
Americans on the
Then
panel.
let me know what your thoughts are. I would love to hear.
I'm trying to figure out a way to make sure my boyfriend doesn't vote so that I can vote in the runoff and he doesn't, because I think he would vote Republican, and that terrifies me. But I've been with the guy for 9 years before all this stuff started, so, and I don't know. I'm just
Sunk
like,
costs.
yeah. But yeah, I'm really hoping that the people of Georgia pull it together again and give us a Democratic Senate. Yeah. Oh, my brain just went dead for a second. I was like, wait, was Democratic the right word? Because yeah, my brain just went crazy.
Oh, Graham's
Short wired.
putting I don't want a chip implanted in my body. We were taught as kids about the Mark of the Beast. We should have a choice, given that a phone chip isn't the same as in the bot. Yeah, of course it isn't. But the thing is, I mean, certainly when it comes to, like, let's say employers, but now let's give a good example about employers knowing where you are. I work in a job. I work outside. We have I have a PDA for my job right now. They can pretty much monitor where you are, what you're doing on that thing anyway. They don't, they don't need. I don't need a thing in my body for them to. Effectively, they really wanted to track people. It's not hard. But the thing is, I think if they were going to make a massive assault on civil liberties, I think there'd be like required DNA databases before you even got microchips, to be honest. And that was an issue, because that was a bit of a political issue a few years ago in the UK about a national DNA database, and it got sort of kicked out because there was huge concerns over individual liberties over that.
See, I'm a fan of that idea. It's actually, but I look at it more from a long-term epidemiological perspective. So 50 years from now, it would be absolutely wonderful if we could take people who are dead, like, so we're talking about like my parents, grandparents, for privacy reasons, but just give epidemiologists all this data. Here's everybody's genome, fully anonymized, with their medical history. Go. And the amount of data you could get out of that would be phenomenal for the development of cures, vaccines, looking for genetic predispositions for various diseases.
Oh yeah, we don't have a mass
And also
Especially if you
predictive
start
capacities.
putting that all into AI.
Exactly. Just even let the AI black box it. Even if nothing else, it could do wonders for research. And this kind of data is collected and anonymized all the time because we fill out the census. I mean, there's more information
Why
on the
shouldn't we
census
have
than there is in your
more
genome.
data? More data doesn't hurt.
I'm concerned about employers have a long history of employee abuse. And that's why I do not trust them with the use of an RFID. I mean, they've developed this toilet that changes its position by 15 degrees to make you start to slide off it and make it very uncomfortable to be sitting on it, using it.
Well, we've had
Okay, now combine the ability to change that seat angle and a line of code that says how long you're allowed to be in the bathroom, and an employer who's monitoring how many minutes you've been in the bathroom. Okay,
I think you
imagine
underestimate.
that. That's just, how dare you?
I think you underestimate the power of labor in this case. Just because people wouldn't allow employers to use it that way. There would be riots in the streets before Walmart would be raiding my RFID chip.
They drug test you. They drug test you,
This
regardless of your history.
This is this is where this is going to, again, where I'm going to get on my traditional blooming go-to on this one, and that is get fucking unionized if you're not. I mean,
Yep.
that's been the
Yeah.
big thing about what
Labor.
they can and can't use like these PDA actuals for. With us has been a big issue that you know that we've had the employers have had to concede that they can't use it for certain things like conduct things or spine things that unions have forced them into. I mean, and it's it's been a big problem. I mean, Britain and the United States both nations where the unions have taken such a hammering over the last 40 years.
Yeah. Well, they've been seen as socialist organizations, right? So, and they are. Because
I'm not even
absolutely.
allowed to say that word at my work.
Oh yeah, at a Walmart, you'd be out in
Yeah.
you'd be out in a split
Oh, yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said, Jenny, and what the comment was before with that tracking, you're saying you wouldn't like it because they could know how long employees have been in the toilet and things like that. There is a really good case for it, though. Say you're working in a warehouse or dangerous type of environment where you have to move between different sections.
Mm-hmm.
And RFID would enable the workers to move between sections without having to stop to sign in and out of those areas because it's automatically picked up and the computer knows exactly who is where in case anything goes wrong.
Alternatively, have them all carry cards such
And
that
swiping
you
it out.
just have a
But they do that
Yep.
now. But if you don't have to find your card all the time, that does make life easier.
Well,
I know there's a
you
few
have
places
them
that
wear
use
have them wear a
wristbands
name
now
badge.
to do it.
Have them wear a
Just use a
name
fob.
badge that has an RFID built into it.
Yes, they do that.
Jen, the thing is, Jen,
Yeah.
that you could just increase the power on the scanner such that it scans you as you walk through the doorway.
Yes.
Well, the
So
thing
you
is
don't
too
need
is
to
like
take card out.
Well, that's
Like-
true. Yeah.
you're
We can do
talking
that with
about
facial
like
recognition in principle.
Yeah, with principle, you could do it with facial recognition too.
but you're talking about like the monitoring how long you're in the bathroom and stuff like that. Like they can do that already. Like if you don't
Yeah.
think that that almost every retailer or employment location has got cameras that face the restrooms and can see you going in and see you coming out and
Oh yeah.
calculate how long you've been in there. And I mean, they don't need to have a chip on you to tell you to be able to find out that you spent 20 minutes in the bathroom when you were only supposed to spend 5, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, companies already watch their employees anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And certain employees already keep
Well,
an eye on your social
see,
media, so frequently they know where you are anyway.
As soon as you say that sentence, you've given up. You've given up all your rights to privacy.
I'm not giving up. What I'm saying is, depending on the type of work environment you're in, it may actually be beneficial to you as well as all the other workers who work there to know where all the workers are at any one time.
Yeah.
The numbers
She's
of
making an
numbers
argument
of
similar to
industries
like when
that's applicable is so small.
yeah, but it's one of those things like the number
right.
of times a phone is used to identify where somebody's lost in the woods. Yeah, that doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, when the technology is used for a good and safe purpose, we celebrate that. You know,
Yep.
somebody's phone got a signal. Oh, they happen to be 20 miles off this highway. We can find them now. Yes. So that's not generally the function of these things. Same thing with the RFID, but just because the technology is there doesn't mean anybody's looking unless they have a purpose. And that's when you start getting into the rights of whether or not somebody can look. Now, whether or not the technology itself is intrinsically dangerous, I don't think it is.
No.
Especially with RFID, because you need to be so close to actually pick up most of these signals, given most commercial applications of RFID tech. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
It
my
depends
opinion.
on the RFID tag and the type of sensor that's used.
I would
But
suggest
yeah.
that RFID chips on your hands are a bad idea for people like me, simply because I would break it by accident.
Oh yeah, I don't necessarily think that there's a good cause for injecting or putting chips inside people. I mean, you can achieve the same thing by making all employees put on their wristbands when they enter the building or something like that, and then it's automatically
Exactly.
picked up as they walk around. So, any injection's not necessarily needed. But having said that, it's not necessarily a bad thing if it ended up being the case for people who chose to, because some people might constantly lose them or whatever, and they go, it'd just be easier to have it injected.
But can you imagine what it could be like if, say, this employer's database of employees and their RFID codes and things is merged with other databases
Well, that's why we have data protection rights.
and acknowledgments of movements and
That's not necessarily a problem
totally
as well.
better.
But that depends on how you treat the data. If you treat the data as a thing of itself without naming the people who are in the data, then that data actually could be very, very useful, and it doesn't actually impact the individuals themselves.
Again,
it's
we're
a case
talking
study
about
on how you use these things.
We're talking about organizational structures,
Well, that's it. It's all about
corporations,
how you use
companies
them.
that have a 500-year history of abusing employees at every possible turn.
Here's the thing: if
Yeah, and that's
people
when
are
you're
going to
talking
merge,
about union action. I mean,
yeah, if you're going to merge databases like that, then that is going to cause some issues. There's a reason that banks, for example, don't share a list of the places where you withdrew money and shit, because that makes it very easy to track someone. And while some people don't have an issue with it, that is them saying they are okay with it for them. And as such, the data does exist, and if companies decided to all band together and do it, they could probably work out where most people are at any given time.
It's the same thing about tracking cell phones and stuff like that. It's not whether or not I am doing something wrong. It's the fact that you have no freaking right to be getting this information on me without my specific permission at every occasion.
You realize when you buy your phone, you
already
actually sign documentation that gives them the permission.
I understand that, but that should not be. That should be ended.
Yeah, the thing is though that what I was saying wasn't that they should be able to; it's that they can.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should, though.
Yeah, and they already can. So if that is a concern, it should already be a concern.
Oh, it already is.
The assumption you guys seem to be making is that it's going to be in corporate hands.
Yeah, but everything
this is something that
hands.
Depends on the country you're in, but to what degree. But we're talking about a distant future.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Where in principle the government could use this tech, right? So.
But you remember the old fears in the 80s and 90s of Big Brother watching you. The Big Brother we were worried about was governments, but they're not actually the Big Brother watching us. The Big Brothers are the Googles and the Facebooks and the Twitters.
If the government was actually watching, I might even take issue with that, because I don't trust the government as far as I can throw the Parliament building.
Oh, I don't trust government. I don't necessarily. Well, no,
but there's a difference as far as I'm concerned. I look at it this way. I see there's a difference between collecting the data and looking at it. I think the data should be collected. Looking at it is the issue. So that's when you need warrants and these kind of things. So this is why I'm perfectly okay with it, because I think it can be regulated in such a way that it can work.
I'm okay.
So I'm okay with
that
just because data is always good, in my opinion.
I agree.
Heavy regulation laws and heavy regulation and transparency laws would be needed before I'd be okay with it. But it could be made that I would be okay with it. Is my stance on that.
This is do you know what? I'll tell you what. Like 35 years ago, this conversation was an episode of Yes Minister. It's amazing.
The Big Brother is watching you with the legislation. Yes, it was.
With the legislation of databases and civil liberty. I mean, this was that was an early episode of Yes Minister, and it's amazingly prophetic or just amazing how so many of the things that were sort of like jokes about in that program are still like legitimate political issues to this day.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. But that's because the base politics never really change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole thing with the corporations is where I have my little anti-capitalist thing still going. That I think it's a problem because capitalism in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But are we going to fight about capitalism and socialism again, are we?
I was going to say, I'm not going to start that.
I was going to say, do we want to get into monetary theory?
we've kind of really done that to
No,
death over the past
we
week.
did
I
that
think.
yesterday.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
did this yesterday.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I was
Fair.
saying without going into it, because I'm
Yeah.
aware we've already rehashed this a couple of times.
Yeah, the last couple of streams have ended up going down the road of socialism and capitalism and the heavy politics, and I mean we've walked into that again now. So
I mean, I knew we
Well,
wouldn't.
that's because that's
I
2020. I mean,
didn't.
that's the year.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. This year is all politics, especially at the
I mean, you
moment
can't
with the
avoid.
stuff in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's a circus. Actually, it really is a circus at the moment. I mean, if you're in America, I totally understand for Jenny and Kitty that it's not great the way it is. But I think for some of us in the rest of the world, whilst we're concerned about it, about America to a certain to a reasonable degree, because the wrong people in charge like Trump is a concern for the rest of the world. But we're also laughing at it because
Yeah.
it is.
I mean,
You couldn't make television like this.
Mhm.
my thing
Guys,
is that
you don't.
it's not
You
my
guys don't live
circus.
above the dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I live above the
Oh,
dumpster
dear.
fire.
Sorry,
It's
you're
not
getting
our,
all the
There's a quote
fumes up
by
there.
Pierre Trudeau.
oh,
Yeah, there's a quote
it's not our
by
circus,
Pierre
but a few
Trudeau
of the
back in the
monkeys are
70s, I think it
ours.
was. The Pierre Trudeau quote from back in the 1970s sometime was being in Canada, sorry, being next to the United States is like sleeping with an elephant. So, like, every move the United States makes, we have to be very nervous about it up here because you guys are all crazy, quite frankly.
Not all of us.
Yeah, crazy.
Y'all
I
crazy.
like to think I'm not crazy.
There's a lot of very sane Americans.
Yeah.
We're just not the majority by any
Yeah,
means.
unfortunately.
Based on the polls, at least 49% of you are fucked. So, most recent polling.
I don't know. I tend to look at that 49% that I'm in, or that percentage that I'm in, if based on the most recent election, that 50.8 or whatever it was percent, and I look back and I see about 50% to 75% being absolutely fucking Looney Tunes, just in a different direction than the right.
Yeah, like every conversation I had with my father these days, I just walk into the room and he's just sitting there reading the news and he goes, I just can't understand how these people, and then something. It's every, like, and that's every conversation in Canada right now is, what the fuck is wrong with these people? It's just like,
I think Jen Dragon Queen said it pretty well in one of her videos recently. It's American
and it kind
individualism
of goes back
that's
to,
the
it's kind
problem.
of,
Okay, you all talked over each other.
Oops. I said it's American individualism. It's too much of this me. I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I got mine, you get yours. Fuck off type attitude that a lot of Americans have, especially the older generations.
I would go one further than that, and
Well-
I would use the terminology that Rush Limbaugh coined, the rugged individualism, because that also helps to explain things like the macho shithead incel movement and all of that toxicity that exists out there as well.
Hmm.
it's
Or these people that
one thing
like
that I've
I've got.
noticed just kind of comparing different cultures. I was just going to say, all comparing different cultures and just talking to different people around the world. Am I breaking up or?
Yeah,
No, you're
okay.
fine. You're fine.
You're fine.
Okay. What was I going to say? Anyway, sorry, couldn't have been that important. Zamboni went through. Gone.
You were saying about comparing cultures across the world is interesting. I think.
Cultures. One of the things I've noticed recently is when you start thinking about multi-generational homes, that's more or less the norm anywhere people have lived forever in any kind of significant population. Like when you look in China, Japan, India, multi-generational homes just happen. Same all through the Middle East. We don't have that value here. Like in the West, we have this idea that we have to be moving forward, progressing forward, do your own thing. And in that sense, even just holding those values is an exceptionalism, that you have to be more than, you have to consume extra, you have to define yourself. And it's this idea that we always have to be on the edge, at the frontier, in order to have any, as part of our cultural identity in some sense. We're not
Mhm.
good at just being happy. Like that's not what the people who came, or at least the colonists who came to
Yeah.
North America, were really good at. Because these are the people who wanted more. These are the people who kept going away and kept reaching out and consuming and colonizing and blah blah blah.
I mean, even in the
Now there's
UK, that's a
four.
bit of a thing. So
You know, that's a really good point, because I was watching someone's YouTube video and they were like, they weren't like shit talking their parents, but they were like, my mom spent 15, 16 years at this one company and she never did anything, blah blah blah, and she stagnated, and I'm just like, wow. I mean, like, maybe she liked her job, or maybe she just needed the job and she didn't have options. Like, just because people stagnate doesn't mean that that's necessarily a bad thing. In a way, like, just because you're not doing something brand new and different and out there
Mhm.
doesn't mean you can't be happy where you are.
yeah. And the funny double standard is that
We had
people
a
are
saying.
terrified of change, especially in the West. But then they're all demanding constant change.
See, we had a saying, and it was, "Good enough is great." And what there's a lot of knowledge and wisdom in that, insofar as you can, when something good enough should be fine.
Oh, you're roboting a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you just DC'd or
Oh,
something.
Bleh.
It's frozen.
I think
no,
my
I
feed's
think we
breaking
went
up. I
back.
don't know if I keep going.
You were junk shopping a little.
There we go. What was I saying?
You're saying there's a
Good
saying,
enough is great or something.
Yeah, that's the last
Oh yeah,
thing we
good enough is great.
heard.
It kind of goes back to that colonial.
Mm-mm. Lost you again.
I'll be back.
Of good enough, and nobody seems to have that.
Oh, we lost Chad again.
idea.
Fuck. I have to get off my thing.
Yeah, you're doing a superb junk shop there, Chad. I'm afraid. Okay, I'll have to jump back in a sec. So
But yeah, I think I understand what he was getting at, is that we're always being encouraged to reach for more and never settle. And it's like, what if I want to settle? What if I'm fine spending 20 years at the same company? I pay my bills, I pay my rent, I live my life. I don't like, why is that something to be derided? Maybe that's the word I'm thinking of.
We have
What?
a big cultural thing that people's purpose in life is supposed to be to
Oh,
advance and to push forwards or something. And I think that plays into it a lot
I think
because
Chad's just going to chill in the chat. I think he's
there.
okay.
And that just causes a lot of issues, I think, where everyone feels like they have to be pushing forwards, and then when they can't, that causes a lot of stress.
Mhm.
And like I had a conversation the other day where I was talking to someone who's somewhere between nihilism and absurdism in terms of purpose of life, but I'm somewhere between absurdism and existentialism. And are these words making sense, or am I talking gibberish?
It's gibberish to me. I mean, I know what nihilism is, but I'm not sure about some of the other ones.
Okay, it's about how society creates meaning and how we create meaning for ourselves within society was basically the discussion that was had.
Mhm.
And a lot of people kind of take society's word for what it is to have value. Whereas I would personally take more of the stance that value is something we create and we can form as societies ideas that are generally considered of value.
Mhm.
But once you have the basis that everyone seems to have, that human life is in fact valuable, your life is valuable, then you can go, okay, well, what do I want to do with my life now? What is important to me that if I succeed, I will be happy I have had something in my life that I have done. So for me, that's just going to be being content and producing things that I enjoy and that people around me enjoy. But I know for some people it's learning. But I think society tries to pressure us into all having the same purpose in life.
Mhm.
Okay, what do we talk about now? Then we seem to have hit a bit of a
Yeah, sorry. I
Yeah,
I
no,
suddenly
it's-
realised that I dipped into philosophy a bit, and
yeah. You're not do. I don't think you got many philosophers in here, to be honest.
I
I
think,
like
therefore, I
talking
couldn't
about.
give a fuck.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
like talking about philosophy, but not in philosophical ways, if that makes
Mm.
any sense.
yeah, that makes sense.
I know the philosopher's song off by heart, but that's about it. That's about my knowledge.
Kitty, how did you like the cold weather we sent down to you?
It was interesting. It was snowing yesterday or the day before yesterday. It was the day
Really?
before. Yeah, flurries, but it didn't stick.
I heard it got so cold that Florida's having an iguana drop.
Oh, really? I didn't hear
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, I forget you guys sometimes actually get snow at Christmas or
Mm.
in December at all. Frankly,
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. When everyone has the same purpose, it's easy to manufacture and market fulfillment.
Ooh, that was profound. That must be something they teach at Walmart, isn't it?
One Ring said it, not me.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So do you foreigners have a holiday around things when the U.S. has Thanksgiving?
We
Uh,
don't really. No.
No.
The closest we have is bonfire night.
Yeah.
Sam, where are you?
I am also over in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's not even really a holiday. It's not like something we get the day off for or anything. November the
No,
5th.
no, it's just in the evening we all go and stand outside in a cold, wet field and watch fireworks.
and burn an effigy of a man who died like hundreds of years ago.
Yep, and I personally like to call it failed Catholic Revolutionary Day, but I've gotten a couple of tellings off for that previously.
What the hell? Well, that's exactly what it was, though.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
precisely what it was.
High school didn't like me referring to it as that in history lesson.
Yeah.
oh, you mean
What did you refer to as that?
Failed Catholic Revolutionary Day.
What day is that?
it's Guy
On
Fawkes Day?
Guy Fawkes. So, yeah.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
the bonfire, the gunpowder plot, I
Gunpowder.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yes.
gunpowder plot.
Well, this is the thing. It was an attempt by a small. Really by a very small little sector of Catholics to effectively overthrow the government by blowing them all up, to keep all up. And because the idea was that the reason they picked the date was it was for the state opening of Parliament, and then the state opening of Parliament. Not only do you just have all the members of Parliament there, you have you have the king, you have the monarchs there, and all the bishops, and
Excuse me.
and of course, back then as well, most of the royal family attended the state opening of Parliament. So in one foul swoop, would have eliminated the entire ruling elite of England. It's the whole. It was
But they got caught.
they
Yeah.
got caught, but it was actually a pretty darn harebrained scheme. That after they caught Guy Fawkes, the rest of the plotters still tried to raise a Catholic rebellion. and even most Catholics are like, piss off, we don't want any part of this. You've just like brought the whole weight of the blooming British crown down upon us.
Yeah.
And I
And
mean, really, they were a bunch of blooming like fanatics and amateurs, really. Apart from Guy Fawkes, who was really only brought in there because he was a soldier and he had expert with blowing things up. So
yeah, he was basically the guy they left behind to light the match.
yeah.
Well, and he also invented that really cool mask.
Yeah, but
I've always wondered what the connection with that mask was. Like,
Yeah.
like where did it come from?
yeah,
Basically,
but-
he became the original straw man.
yeah.
Sorry.
But he wasn't the leader of the gunpowder plot. It was actually a guy named Robert Catesby who was actually the leader.
He was
Yep.
beheaded, wasn't he?
Oh no, I think I'm trying to remember because a lot of them got killed in a blooming standoff
They
at some
were-
house somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Guy Fawkes was hung, drawn, and quartered.
Mm.
Do people in the chat know what drawn and quartered is?
Oof.
So
Okay, you want to take this one, Sam?
okay,
I know what it is.
oh,
I'm just
God.
wondering if the chat does. You don't
So
want
did
to
the
have
chat-
it happen to you. Let's just say that.
No.
Pretty
No.
damn brutal. It's a pretty damn brutal method of It was the standard execution method for treason for like hundreds of years in the in England.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's just put it this way for those who don't know. You have 2 arms and 2 legs, and then the punishment includes 4 horses. What do you think is going to happen?
I know. Catesby was killed in the standoff, Jeff. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a hilarious it's a hilarious story about how, just really how dumb they were. That when they were preparing for this standoff, that they had a bit of gunpowder to use in their pretty darn useless matchlocks of the day, I suppose. But when they got there, the powder was wet, so they decided to dry it out by putting it near the fire.
Uh-huh. Oh.
You see how that's gonna? You just see how that's ended, can't you?
Mhm.
Yep.
Bull! Hi, Bull.
Hi, Paul.
Bull
Yeah.
baby, you're up early.
You've got to consider. You've got to look at it, considering the incompetence of a lot of the police and detectives at the time. That they actually managed to uncover the plot at all is amazing.
Yeah, they very nearly got away with it.
They did, and they were fucking useless at what they were doing.
Well, I've heard tell that the only reason they were discovered was by some accident or other for somebody to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird how they did get kind of caught, actually.
Didn't one of the conspirators send a warning not to go into Parliament to a friend of theirs?
Yeah,
that
was
Yeah,
what.
I
Well,
remember that.
we don't know which one it
Jeff
was.
Hopswatch wants in.
I know. I'm just looking him up on Twitter now. I'm trying to do. I'm not good at. I'm a man. I'm never good at multitasking.
Well, what do you mean? You can you can masturbate and look at a magazine at the same time. What's the big deal?
No, I actually. Right. Okay.
Done.
What?
I sent Hops.
I'm assuming you're.
Trying to do.
I'm assuming Hops is still on his alt account, so I sent it there.
Oh.
So.
Oh, I was going to say I'll jump up out if Hops wants to come in, but of course there's only 5 of us now.
Yeah. But
I can't decide what my thoughts are on Bonfire Night as a celebration thing because while on the one hand it's celebrating that we didn't get overthrown by a group of Catholics.
Nice Hops.
On the other hand, it's celebrating the monarchy, which I'm a bit meh on.
Yeah, I was going to say the one I think sold out the conspiracy was a guy named Francis Tresham, who was one of the ones brought in later. That's who they think was the one who, even though he got extra. The thing was, there was a handful of like Catholic MPs, and one of them was Lord Monteagle, who got a letter basically warning him not to show up in Parliament.
Yeah.
Something was going to happen. Monteagle took that letter straight to the sort of King's sort of first minister or the Chancellor at the time, a guy named Robert Cecil. So Monteagle sort of sold the Catholics out effectively. So that's kind of what happened. That's kind of how they
how they got caught.
But Robert's really interesting because Robert Cecil, very much once he got that letter, he managed very, very cleverly stage managed the whole thing to give the king the starring role in cracking the conspiracy sort of thing. So
talking of RFID, guess who's in the chat?
And Slim as well.
Yep.
Slim.
Hi, Slim.
Yeah, we're not talking about chips. This is the man we need to talk to, really. But anyway, Hops, you've jumped in, mate. How you doing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't hear you.
You're very
quiet.
Quiet.
You are very quiet, Hops.
Am I very quiet?
Very.
That's a bit better, but it's still quiet.
Okay.
Oh, that's
better.
Yep, that's better.
Didn't really do anything other than moving my microphone, but
Yeah.
Well,
You may as I can do.
I'm still here. Still unemployed, still awfully depressed, but trying to keep up. I've just been reviewing, and I was just finishing a review of a beer I had a couple of days ago, which is a Jubilee lager from my local brewery around here.
Cool.
They were the first to make an organic beer in Denmark, and that was 25 years ago. So they made this one to commemorate. And it's decent. Not only decent, actually, it's actually quite good, which is rare for a standard pale lager. I mean, pale lagers are usually just pale lagers, but this actually stands out. So that's good.
Yeah.
Now I'm just sharing links everywhere I can think of, except on my old Twitter account because I'm still jailed from that. I can, however, still receive messages there. So there's that. So I got the link.
When you get it back,
Pirate Kitty sent me. I think it's 2 hours and 10. Rubbish. 2 days and 10 hours or something. I think it's going to be.
so frustrating.
What did you do?
There we go.
Yeah. You see, I told Donald Trump exactly what I thought of him.
Oh.
And I can read it aloud. I mean, Jeff did that. Several times. The last time I was on the live stream, so I guess it's okay for YouTube. Twitter's obviously more sensitive to stuff like that. So here goes. What I wrote was this: @real Donald Trump, and it was a tweet that it was an answer to Donald Trump, and he had said something about the world watching. I don't remember exactly what it was about, but that's how his tweet ended. The world is watching. So I answered, "You're right about the world watching. You behaving like a weird combination of a petulant child and a mob boss. Now go resign and go to prison, you stinking orange pile of starched diarrhea and congealed gonorrhea discharge."
And I'm convinced that gonorrhea discharge is what got him banned.
Apparently, that was a bit too harsh for Twitter.
Yeah, well, I think you made a surprisingly sober assessment of the man personally, but
No, what you should do is find that tweet, right, and reply to it with everything except for the gonorrhea part, and see if somebody else gets banned.
Because I know I've called him a festering pustule.
Festering pustule.
My favorite response to him was a few years ago. which is actually where I got my favorite where my new favorite insult from this tweet. And it was Donald Trump had put something up on Twitter saying, like, actually trying to encourage people, because he was pissy with Apple for some reason. He was pissy with Apple, and he said people should boycott Apple for this whatever reason. And then the response to the tweet was, "You tweeted this from your iPhone, you complete wank button." You know,
Having said that, I don't have problems with anyone being pissy at Apple.
I like it when the first time he ever met Tim Wolf, he called him Tim Apple for the whole meeting.
When he met Tim who?
Tim Wolf, the CEO.
Oh, I didn't know what the CEO of Apple was named after what's his face died.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one is Carrie Hughes from The Princess Bride started calling him Trumperdink, and Trump blocked him.
That must be the ultimate honor. That must be to be blocked by Donald Trump.
Well, I've told.
You imagine how many people he's going to block once he's no longer president.
I told you my favorite Twitter story.
Nah,
for
he's
him.
not going to have a Twitter after he's president. Sorry.
Well, oh no. I mean, he. My favorite Twitter story with Trump actually was way before he was president, or even really in the running for it. That somebody from the UK, obviously, tweeted to him, "It's my parents' wedding anniversary today. They're massive fans of yours, and you're say that you are a massive inspiration on their lives and how they conduct themselves. It would mean so much to them if you gave them a retweet," which he did. The problem was it was a picture of a couple named Fred and Rose West.
Oh yeah, that's what you told us.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't know who those two are. Two of Britain's most notorious serial killers. Murdered like their own children. They had they found about 15 or I can't remember how many bodies it was they found under their house.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and Donald Trump just tweeted that out, and it was you're like, damn.
Yeah, see, I know about Fred and Rose West, but I didn't know that story about Trump. That's fantastic.
What's this? I called into the Trump war room and said my dead uncle raced to the grave to vote for Biden.
Oh yeah, the prank calls that line got, that was just epic. Oh my goodness. But someone called in and he was supposed to give his name at the end, and he called himself Harry Son My Balls or something. And Harry's Son My Balls. That was the name he
that's brilliant.
That's brilliant. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Sometimes it's too easy to wind some of these people up, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Too easy. Sometimes it's almost not even fair. Like they don't even have a fighting chance.
Nope.
Well, actually, I was because I was myself, Dave, and Sarcastic Barman were on Twitter today, responded to some flat earther who was doing a climate change denial thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just showing him how wrong he was on everything. And I actually said to Sarcastic Barman, I said, on one hand, this guy could actually provide both of us with a lot of easy material for a video. But the problem of it is, you feel like you were fighting the Black Knight from Monty Python. You just feel like a bully after a while, you know?
Come back, I'll bite your legs off.
Yeah.
That was a funny scene.
Yeah, that's always how I felt today with this. I mean, it was just the thing was he gave us a big lecture about how he does fact checking, and it was like all he did was post memes, and when the people kept coming back to him with real fact checks, it's like, oh god, this isn't even any sport anymore. This is just, I actually kind of was like, I was actually said to Dave, of course, we do happen to know a real climate scientist, but seeing as she has not got the patience to deal with these fuckwits, I don't think we should tag her.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, no, Amanda does not have the patience to,
well.
and she'll admit that herself. She has not got the patience for like science denialists at all. She cannot deal with them.
Although it does have one of the best memes from anyone's YouTube channel.
Of Mark Sargent. That was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious.
Now, which one is this, Mark Sargent?
He popped.
He was on Math Pig's channel.
Yeah,
and he was going on all his bullshit, and Amanda just called him on it and said, "You can just suck my fucking dick."
Mark Sargent was actually on Math Pig's channel.
Yeah, he popped into a hangout. So it was when I think it was when he started saying something about the Challenger disaster being like a hoax or something. It's that was when Amanda was like, "No, I can't fucking deal with this guy anymore. I can't," and that, which I can totally understand that, because I think that's about the point where I would lose it with these. That I run out of patience with him.
He's an absolutely awful grifter, also, isn't he? I mean,
yeah, he's
I don't think that he believes any of it.
Oh, of course he doesn't. He's in it for the money.
Mm-hmm. And having a name for himself, having made a name of himself, is also very important to him, I think.
Who do you think isn't it just for the money?
Well, money and the fame.
Yeah, but who?
Mark Sargent.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. I would completely agree with that.
Oh, yeah, and he tried to get intimate with that woman.
Oh, Patricia Steer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it was.
She rejected him.
She rejected him, and she left, as far as I know, the Flat Earth community after that, didn't she?
No, those two events were far separate.
Yeah, she's back. But I mean, how bad has it got to be about Mark Sargent to be sniffing around Patricia Steer for ages, and then for her to start dating Antonio Subarat of all people?
Oh yeah!
Oh goodness, did she do that? Oh
yeah,
no.
she was dating him for about a year, I think.
And then there's a disgusting piece of human trash.
Yeah,
Subarat.
And then she accused him of rape, and shortly after that, she left.
Yeah.
Well, I have to go. I have energy today, so I'm gonna clean. Maybe you guys can bring Slim in and start talking about RFID chips again.
Yes, Slim.
Okay,
if you want to,
let's bring Slim in.
Want to come in?
Bye, Kitty.
Bye bye. See you guys.
Bye bye, Kitty.
See you, Kitty.
I forgot how to leave. I forgot how to leave.
There you go. Slim, if you're still in the chat, mate, I'll send you a link if you want to join.
Yeah, it's still.
Okay, sorry. Who accused who of rape? Did Patricia accuse Antonio of rape?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean,
and then he came back. He came back and did his best to destroy her reputation in every way you can imagine.
Of course he did.
Oh, he accused. This is where I think it should have become obvious that he was a transphobic piece of shit, because he
called Patty then.
Yeah,
what a surprise! Flat Earther and transphobic piece of shit. I would do.
Yeah, a lot of flat earthers.
By the way,
transphobia is a very common thing in the flat Earth community.
Yeah. Well,
course it is,
Slim,
mate.
if you're still in the chat at all, mate, I've sent you a link through Facebook Messenger. If you are still about.
Super
Up to you
rats
if
is
you wanna
just
go
a
in.
fucking piece of human excrement, though.
Yeah, well, we call him sewer rats for a reason.
I mean, I for some reason I can't tell well. It's probably just the accent, but I can't help having sort of a soft spot for Del. I mean, he's just so extreme.
Sorry.
He's just so extreme. You can't help. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Dell just has a soft spot and he needs a blue pill for it.
No.
No.
No. I mean, it may.
bollocks.
It's probably just the accent. I mean, I used to play the bagpipes. If you didn't know, I actually played it for 13 years and did quite all right with that.
Cool.
At one time, I simply just, going abroad 2 or 3 times a year to play competitions and concerts and stuff like that became too much when I also had a family and a job. So that's why I stopped doing it. But I got tuition from people who, no, they didn't speak like Del because I actually understood what they were saying. Still, I did get, of course, Glasgow and the place where people speak like Del is the most fantastic place in the world, in my humble opinion. So maybe it's just that. But I really absolutely love the city of Glasgow.
I've heard other people say that who have been there, that it's just to die for.
Glasgow feels very ordinary to me. That might just be me though, because I used to visit several times a year.
It's not a beautiful city. You wouldn't go there for the architecture or stuff like that. That's absolutely awful. But it's the people. It's the nicest, heartwarm people in the world. And there's also the thing which I have, I don't think I've experienced this anywhere else in the world. But people, the way that people drive. If you're a pedestrian and you want to cross the road, and you just stand at the side of the road, people automatically stop and will let you over. That doesn't need to be a tiger crossing or anything.
That's normal.
In Minnesota too.
It's not normal. It's not normal in Denmark, and in Ireland they'll try to run you down, even if you're standing on the sidewalk.
So here's the thing:
people in Ireland are absolutely insane motorists. They have no care for you whatsoever. They'll try to ram you.
Yeah, in the UK though, pedestrians get priority over vehicles, which is why everyone does that. I think that's actually a legal thing as well, that pedestrians have priority over vehicles.
Possibly. I will say that while I also felt quite secure when I was in London, Glasgow was just
Glasgow is nicer than
much
London,
more.
I'll tell you this now.
Come on in, Amanda.
Matt, I'm going to say, Amanda, I'll send you a link if you do want to
sent it to you.
Amanda.
This was just an instant happening because Dave was not up to it. So it's a quick
this is a fill-in for Dave because Dave's still not well.
I'll be honest, I prefer some of the people that I know in Edinburgh to the people that I know in Glasgow.
I don't see. I'm more familiar. I've not really been in Glasgow. I've been sort of through Glasgow, never really been there. Edinburgh, I know very well, and Edinburgh's beautiful.
Edinburgh's lovely.
And of course, I was born right across the Firth of Forth there in Dunfermline. So, but I'm going to say, Jen, does Del destroy your love of Scottish accent at all? Del's enough to put you off, isn't he, Jen?
Sorry, what was that?
I was saying, you know your Scottish accent thing.
I won't watch Del because it's weird hating him and loving his accent at the same time.
Yeah.
See, one of my favourite places in Scotland is honestly most places in the Outer Hebrides, but especially the Isle of Skye.
Unfortunately, I've never been there.
Skye is a small island, but it's lovely.
I'd love to go to Islay one day. I used to be big on whiskey, especially from Islay.
Fair.
Lafroig?
I can't come in at the moment, but
Were you into Lafroig?
Were I into what?
Lafroig Scotch?
Lafroig, yeah, Lafroig is okay. But my favorite was Finlagan, especially the cask strength. That was.
I have it's a bottle of Old Pulteney here.
Nice. My go-to is probably Famous Grouse.
Lafroig was the first Scotch that I really got into by name, but now I'm into Balvenie.
My dad's a big JD person, but I'm not overly fond of JD.
I wouldn't be able to tell about Balvenie how it actually tastes. I have to admit, but I'm very much into the smoked whiskies, of which Islay is famous. But I'm actually also very much into the very smooth ones. So I want it very smoked or very smooth. And the best smooth whiskey, smooth whiskey I had was a 17 years old Glengoyne, which is from just north of Glasgow.
That sounds nice.
That was absolutely brilliant, absolutely smooth, just like more like hovering over your tongue rather than touching it. Fantastic.
Balvenie has this one called Doublewood that was recommended to me, and the first taste I had of it, it almost tasted like fruit. I was shocked, and it was so smooth, it was like drinking water.
We should get Sir Sig in here.
I have a really smoky one. It's an old Harry one, I think. And that's smoky and very nice. And we're pretty sure that was one that was done in like a cherry cask or something, because it has that sort of aftertaste. Which, hearing myself say that makes me sound a little bit like a whiskey snob. But
like a what?
Yeah, whatever.
Whiskey snob.
Whatever. I mean, you sound as soon as you know something about something, you sound as a snob, and you just have to accept that. Doesn't mean that you are.
Oh yeah.
Somebody's not a whiskey snob to me until they yell at me because I put ice in my whiskey. Screw
do you do it on the rocks?
I mix whiskey with all sorts of stuff, so yeah.
I don't tend to mix my whiskey, though my dad does. That I prefer like a Black Russian if I'm going to have something mixed.
Yeah. I'll mix it with Coke or lemonade or.
See, True Tech, my favorite alcohols are all sweet girly drinks.
Fair. So, my drinks typically are. I'll take vodka mixed with something. I'll take whiskey and I'll take cider, typically.
Yeah. Let's see.
Though rum is quite
beer.
Nice.
Who said that?
I did. I absolutely despise beer.
Lovely. Yeah. I love that, because that means there's more beer for me.
I will tolerate beer.
Oh yeah, I don't like beer either. You can have any that are offered my way too.
Cool, wonderful. I mean, generally, alcohol. Disagreeing on alcohol is stupid, isn't it? Because if people don't like the same thing as you, there'll be more for you. So
pretty much, that's the way I think of it. Most of my friends don't like cider, so I'm just like, more cider for me.
Exactly. So have you? Let me see. What I was just thinking about.
We have gone a long way from your original topic, Jeff.
What was the original topic?
COVID vaccines.
Yeah, we've gone from vaccines to alcohol.
Yeah.
And
although I must admit, alcohol is a bloody brilliant vaccine.
Yes, it is.
Not sure that's quite how it works, but sure.
It's a brain injection.
99% of known germs. If you inject it, it's better than
yeah.
No, never Jenny. Inject it. Boofing is close enough.
Jenny, have you ever tried the Belgian fruit beers? If you're into so-called girly drinks.
Milwaukee. I grew up in Milwaukee, and if you know Milwaukee's reputation in the States, it's the beer capital.
Yeah, it's known
and so I've
for
always felt it my
Pabst
obligation
Blue
to
Ribbon,
like beer, and so I have tried every beer that's come along that somebody was willing to give me a taste of.
as far as
And
I know.
they're just every one of them is just bitter as all get out. I can't stand it.
Okay,
I will
well,
drink a Stella. I just don't prefer beer particularly.
you say Stella. There's Stella Artois. That's just because I mentioned Belgium. Because what I'm thinking of are sour sweet beers, which are brewed with traditional sour Belgian beers with fruit added, typically cherries. But you can also now get them with apple, for example, and they are. I mean, I think they're absolutely scrumptious, and anyone who doesn't really like beer should try these because it's
Are
technically
they more
beer.
like a cider?
Oh,
They would be. Yeah.
I'm always
Well, I
open
like
to trying a
cider.
beer.
I mean, ciders
So-
are yummy.
I mean,
I will also say Milwaukee is famous for Pabst Blue Ribbon, which I see as a watered down version of tap water and not really beer. But
Well, that's
so
how Americans like their beer, and we
not any.
at one point Milwaukee had
I'm actually
Blatz,
quite
Pabst, Schlitz, old style hams, and like 3 or 4 other major breweries.
Hey,
I was going to
Jenny,
say, I'm very
beer time.
apologetic towards American beer after the beer revolution. I made a top 3 of the 3 countries whose beer I love the most, and the United States was on second place actually after Belgium.
Really?
Yes, because after the beer revolution and all the microbreweries came up, American beer is world class. It's some of the best beers you can get. When
Do you make
choose...
your own beer as well, Hobbs?
No, I don't. I've never got into that. But I will
wouldn't
say,
mind
if you
trying to make my own vodka. That'd be cool.
I have one of my exes. Their parents make their own vodka, and still occasionally when I go around to the house, I'll get given a shot to try. But they do all sorts of weird ones. I've tried orange vodka, which is homemade, which is very nice. But frankly, with the percentage, it was probably closer to absinthe than vodka.
You can get some pretty high percentages if you make it yourself.
It's homemade, and as such, it's not regulated.
Do you remember when they used to sell the alcoholic cooking essences?
But isn't that illegal?
Yeah, it is now. It wasn't, though. We used to be able to go and buy them, and what we do is buy packs, or buy a whole heap of them, and then you'd mix up your own alcohol because they're like 98% proof. So you just that was a way to get drunk very fast and very, very sick.
Yeah.
I remember one of the parties we had. We made this weird concoction with an alcoholic vanilla extract mixed with a lime cordial and lemonade. And one of the guys who was at the it tasted all right. One of the guys who was doing it vomited all over the carpet. And he goes, "Oh my god! It comes up the same color as it went down."
Amanda, that's an amazing coup. Good for you.
Yeah. I'm just go on. Sorry.
Homemade alcohol is a big thing in Norway and Sweden, but not in Denmark. Try and guess why.
The legality of it?
No, it's illegal in all 3 countries to make your own booze.
Okay. Is it to do with then more microbreweries?
Is it
No. There are microbreweries in Denmark as well as in Norway and Sweden. It wouldn't be that.
And the price.
Yes, it has something to do with price. it always also has something to do with accessibility, but definitely also price. Denmark is actually relatively expensive if you look at countries like France and Germany. But then if you look at Norway and Sweden and the prices there, it suddenly looks relatively cheap. But also, it's not as accessible in Sweden and Norway. You have to go to these state-owned shops to get it, and
That's right, yes.
well, you can buy it in any supermarket in Denmark. So there's a market for it. But what happened with one of my friends when we were at the Roskilde Festival, I think it was back in 2000, and 2001 would have been, and we met these Swedish people who had brought their own homemade vodka or hembränt, which it would be called in Swedish, in a huge one of these jugs that you would put gasoline in, and they bought it in one of those, and they mixed it with, I think, with strawberry milkshake, and drank it like that. And he one of my friends got completely pissed, and literally pissed in his tent because he didn't manage to leave it before he had to.
Oh wow, that's something. I'm curious about something because I've been told by a couple of American friends that like Strongbow dark fruits is advertised as quite a feminine drink in the US, but it's advertised as a more masculine drink in the UK. I was just wondering how people find it where they are, because we've got a few different countries.
What drink is that?
Strongbow. It's a cider.
Strongbow dark fruit.
Yeah, get ring it.
I've had Strongbow. It's okay.
It's more or less a novelty in Denmark, so it wouldn't be either.
Fair. What about you, Jen? How's the advertising for that tend to go where you are?
What, with advertising for what? Sorry, I was replying to
sorry.
Message. I was replying to Amanda in private.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Was
a little distracted.
I was just saying. I've noticed that apparently in different places, Strongbow dark fruits can be seen as more of a masculine or feminine drink. Like in the UK, it's more masculine and stuff. But
I've never seen a Strongbow ad in America.
Yeah, no, not so much in Australia. The Strongbow is just drunk by whoever likes it over here. I mean, you gotta remember that in Australia, beers are for everyone. Everyone should be drinking beers. I am considered weird because I won't drink beer.
Oh, that's a thing here as well. But it's becoming more normal for someone to drink a Strongbow.
I prefer, for ciders, I prefer. And again, it's my weakness. Sweet, hard ciders.
I quite like Magnus as a cider, actually.
Magnus is all right. I quite like Brothers, which is a Somerset cider, I think.
Yeah.
And Rattlers is quite a hard cider, but they do some very nice fruity ciders.
Stowford Press is another one I really quite like.
They're one that I don't know that I've had, but I've heard good things of.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things, you ever go to the West Country as well, you just get farmhouse cider everywhere. That's like a big thing. You go
Cornish cider is the best.
Anywhere like sort of anywhere from sort of Dorset, Devon, Somerset. It's
I think I might be slightly biased, but I think that Cornish cider is probably some of the best I've ever had.
Good night, Gary.
Thank Gary. Wow, Gary, you're pulling the late night, and not as bad as I did last night, but I had a good reason.
Can I just share something from Twitter I just found?
Yes, please.
Let me see.
If it's hilarious.
I think it is. It had me giggling if you heard it. I didn't mute my microphone. I'll just find a proper size. There you go. Let's see. Share screen. Probably going to botch this. I always do when I share screens.
Okay, Ring. Never mind. I'll tell you what. Someone else I'm gonna ask. Sorry, I'll give you a sec. Ring.
And bye, PJ.
Yes.
PJ, she going?
The fuck?
Oh, I was just asking. I was just asking PJ if she wanted to come in. Actually.
Oh God.
Isn't it the? I mean,
oh,
it's
that's
hard.
great.
It's hard.
I have a violent reaction to that.
Would you please send that to me on Twitter?
Yeah, sure. It's Jenny, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll see.
I actually have an almost violent reaction to that image. What the fuck?
See. What is your handle, Jenny?
At BONZOIX.
BONZOIX. Oh, there you go. I have to. This depends on which of my profiles I'm on. Problem is, I can't send it from my. Well, maybe I can, but I'm right now. I'm on my personal
that's
account.
Right. That one. I just could not. I could not. It did not. Whatever the fuck you call that one. Yours was limited. Protected.
Yeah, the HubSpot's jailed. Yeah, it's not protected anymore. So, but let me just see. What I can do is now I'm kind of afraid. No, there it is. Let me just see. It's going to be complicated, but I may be able to pull it off.
I've just put Jenny's Twitter in the private chat, by the way, Hops. If you do need it.
I have found it. However, problem is she isn't following me.
I am, but it just didn't take.
Try following me now. It's on the HubSpot jailed account.
I see one that says HopSwatch, Black Lives Matter. I'm
that's
Mr.
not the
White
one. That's
Christmas.
the one that is in jail at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says I'm following. I'll unfollow and refollow.
Let me see. Okay, so maybe I can.
Okay, and then it just doesn't have the DM on it, but my DMs are always open. So.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I should be okay. In that case, I should be able to just send it to you. Copy link to tweet. There you go. And there you are. No, I can't send you a message right now. But what I can do instead is simply just say I'm tagging you in a message where no, not in a message. I'm tagging you in a tweet where I simply link the original tweet. There you go. Now you should have it. If you just go to Twitter.
Or you could send it to Jen. She can send it to me.
I'll do both.
Yeah, that works. Or yeah, any of us really. Pops, why don't you post it in my group?
Good idea.
Yeah.
See.
That way Jenny can pick it up from there.
Yeah, because it's still not showing up in Twitter. That's odd.
There you go. It's in your group now again.
Yep, I just see it's in there now. Yep.
Yep, there it is.
That is an awesome blooming meme, that one.
It's fantastic. It's also dreadful.
Yeah. I saw some video I saw. I'm trying to remember where I saw. Actually, I think it was one of the times I was on the Shills. Actually, that there was it was some video which was obviously a bit fake when it was sort of like someone who was claiming to work on like a 5G tower or something, and he said this is one of the boxes on it, and it said C-19, and it was like such an obvious bloody.
It still won't let me copy the damn thing. Damn it! That's really weird.
Mm.
Maybe if I go to the original. There, I can save it. If I go into the original, there's something between you and my accounts that is just not jiving right.
Yeah, apparently. That's weird.
Well, unfollow me, and I'll unfollow you, and then tomorrow we'll refollow each other.
Okay, let's try that.
I'll remember your address. That's no big deal.
Cool.
All right, Jenny, I've actually just sent you that as in your DMs, by the way.
Okay.
That image. So.
It won't let me copy it from you either.
That's weird.
I bet it still has some kind of tag from.
So sidetracked at the moment.
From HubSpot.
It should, because I just copied and pasted like the image, so it shouldn't. I understand that. Anyway.
Oh yeah, that posted good there, HubSpot.
I'm going to tweet that myself, I think. Now I've saved the image. I am going to tweet that myself.
Actually.
I love internet memes. I just think there's some of them are just so
some of them
fucking
are brilliant.
Clever.
As I said, like the one the idiot myself, Dave, and sarcastic barman were dealing with today. What's his name? Great Believer or whatever his name is. I mean, he just makes all his arguments by using memes. And let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, let me find this on. I'm going to find this on Twitter. Okay, let me share a screen here. This is the Twitter. Okay, right. I think is that up there now. Okay. It doesn't really show up too well here, but this is what this idiot posted here, right? And he's got there's two images here. One, Greta Thunberg, 16 years old, not a scientist, reads from a script, gets 24/7 media coverage. Only Dr. Judith Curry, climatologist, has published over 140 scientific books and papers, says it's all a hoax, gets no media coverage. That was the meme. And this idiot does not want to accept actually that Dr. Judith Curry does not say that climate change is a hoax at all.
Yeah.
She is someone who is against the consensus that she believes that the effects are somewhat exaggerated or are or it's happening at a much slower rate than the majority. And she has given evidence to the US Congress on how many times over the last 10 years I lost count. So I'm probably triggering Amanda's even saying her name in the chat actually, but she is not a climate change denier. She is just someone who is she's never said that the climate change is a hoax, but she has said some questionable shit. But that's what this. But that's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is This is why I didn't tag you in this, Manda, because I knew that you would not have the patience to deal with that level of fuckery. But the woman he was citing, who was supposed to be was the climatologist, does not say that climate change is a hoax, but she is against the consensus of the scientific community on this. And you had like a dozen people point this out to this fucking moron. And then he just posts another bloody meme in response to it, and about the.
You need to get in here, Manda. You really do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Amanda. I want to hear Amanda rant on people who don't fucking listen to climate change. Because you're the best of us at it.
This is a reason why I was thinking, as I said to Dave earlier when I was in chat, says we know a climate scientist, but I don't think we should tag her because she cannot deal. She is not going to tolerate this level of dumb fuckery from these idiots. But then his response was posting another meme about the water levels in Sydney Harbour, which we also fact checked that for him, and you know. Yeah. But yeah, it was. These are the. But I find this is funny. Is these are the people that always go and tell us to do our own research, and the level of their research is that they've either watched some idiot on YouTube or they've, like this idiot, they post memes. So anyway, I had a rant about this idiot. Anyway, that's that over with, I think. And someone else might want to say something about this, actually.
What am I talking about? Sorry.
Right. Somebody may want to say something about climate change denying fuckwit. Manda, go. Manda,
go. Go is the fact that, all climate denial seems to be based solely on stuff that is spread by big oil companies who fund right-wing and super right-wing people. There is no science in it whatsoever. 97% of the world's experts all agree that it's not only real, but that it is anthropomorphic. But much like, flat Earth is one thing. It's fucking stupid and it's annoying. But I see this much like anti-vaxxing, because it's very dangerous. When you make claims that climate change isn't real, or yet they're starting to shift that because they can no longer honestly come out and say climate change isn't real when we have these ridiculous wildfires that keep consuming huge swaths of land, plus all the intense weather patterns and the hurricanes, and the fact that we've had the hottest years on record year after year after year. They can't keep denying that, so they're starting to shift their focus to, climate change is happening, but it's not our fault. People didn't do it, therefore we shouldn't do anything about it. And that is where the danger lies, is by spreading this and saying there's nothing wrong with continuing to burn ridiculous amounts of fossil fuels. And it's dangerous because we have a very limited amount of time to change things in order to save what we're fucking up. As a consensus, we have come to the conclusion it was 2 degrees Celsius above average global climate temperature. It's now at 1.5 degrees Celsius. That's our tipping point. And once we hit that, we will not be able to save most species, probably us. And I get yelled at a lot about the fact that I say you're going to kill everybody, kill the planet, whatever. Yes, the planet will still stand. But if you look at the way that we're losing species now, even, it's over 30,000 a year. We're in the 6th mass extinction event. This is directly related to what is happening with the climate. And by, fighting against the idea that it's anthropomorphic, You're giving us an out, and you're stopping us from actually doing something. What is the problem, even if it weren't true? Even if climate change was not anthropomorphic, what the fuck is wrong with us just making a cleaner planet? Why fight against it when you have that chance? We know that it is, but even the people that deny it having that chance, what the fuck is the problem with it? Go ahead, Jen.
Well, then they fall back to the financial argument.
Sorry, Mandra, I was just doing we're not worthy.
Oh, Jen had her hand up. So.
Yeah, I did.
Jen, go on.
I was further to what you were just saying. Even if you could show that, because there's no denying that climate change is happening. I mean, glacial melts alone prove it. Without the temperature rise and glacial melts, that's all the evidence you need to know that we've got global warming.
Yeah.
So even if you could show that it wasn't us, what difference does that make as to whether or not we, as an intelligent species who has the ability to help our climate, shouldn't do something to stop a mass extinction?
Yeah, precisely.
Because we know a mass extinction is going to come from climate change because it always has in the past. So why shouldn't we do something about it if we have the means to do something about it? That's the bit that... Because their argument that, we didn't cause it, so don't worry about it. No, that's fucking wrong. Regardless of whether we caused it or not, we should still do something about it.
So the answer to that, though, is so annoyingly simple, but just so completely true. Americans don't want to be inconvenienced.
It's not just Americans, though, Jenny. It's all over the
world.
I
can only speak for here, so I try to limit that.
It is most political. It is made a bigger political issue in America than it is everywhere else. Everywhere else has accepted the fact that climate change is real, and most believe that it is anthropomorphic. It is only in America that it has become such a divided political issue.
Yeah, Trump has a lot of answer for that.
Yeah, Ring and I are actually going to do a video because we had found this AIG article about how they admitted that climate change is happening, but it's God's plan, so we just should let it happen. And that's the same reasoning as just it's not our fault, so why should we do shit about it?
There are so many things we can do about it if we have the will and we're prepared to, as a planet, put the money behind it.
Right. I'll just say... I'll just say, as I mentioned them the other day now I can't remember if it was on my stream or on yours, Jen, but I just want to just say here, on behalf of the official position of this channel, fuck Answers in Genesis. Fuck them.
It was Ring Stream.
It was Ring Stream. I fucking think that group is so fucking insidious. They why? Because of the fact that they have actually got people that have legitimate blooming degrees who should know better, who are spouting this bloody bullshit, whether it's creationism or climate change denial or whatever the fuck, fuck them. They are such an insidious organization. I think they're I just can't even. They need to be gone. Answers in Genesis.
It's a constant fight about any science because they know that legitimate science breaks down their faith. So whatever there is a big moment or a big point made in science, they're going to do whatever they can to kind of weasel their way around it and try to break down the actual theories and stuff, even though they can't, but they use their faith as an excuse and to continue to say stuff like, well, this is just God's plan, so let's go with it. And that's hideous.
Well, they have one or two things they do. One or two things is they either deny science outright, or if there's some sort of breakthrough or something that in some way, in just some tiny little way, may suit their confirmation bias. Like there's something. It's like there's some sort of thing out saying, "Oh, there's something new about theory of evolution we didn't know before, or whatever." And they'll be like, "This proves God." That's when they will embrace it. Is when they think they can spin it in a way that this proves God or something. That is the only time they will even half-heartedly embrace science is if they think it supports their narrative, which it just doesn't.
It's like they do not seem to appreciate the term "what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander."
Yeah.
I think a lot of the problems is because they're so heavily based in their Bible, they actually confuse narrative for science. So if you've got a document written somewhere, that is science to them, regardless of if there's actually any evidence to back it up.
Yeah, that checks out.
So
that does seem to be how they think.
Yeah. Oh, this person. It's these appeals to authority. I mean, we don't have appeals to authority in science. You have to have the evidence to back up your claim, no matter who the fuck you are. Whereas in religion, you appeal to authority and power all the time. So, yeah.
It's more of an appeal to empirical evidence, and I don't want to say consensus, because consensus doesn't always, I know I use the 97% thing a lot. And consensus doesn't always, it's not proof, but when you do have something like the leading experts in the world, you rarely have a 97% consensus, something like that. Well, it's not a definitive proof. When you have the empirical evidence behind it to support it, as well as that kind of consensus,
you can argue
it's a bingo you can get for us.
Kids, I'm gonna take off here.
No worries.
No worries, Jen.
I'm just exhausted as hell, and I need some sleep. Amanda, good to see you again. When is that creaky blinder going to happen?
Hopefully this Friday. If not, it'll probably be next Friday.
Okay, I'm dying to see that.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, Jen. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've got Creaky. I've got Conspiracy Cats coming on.
Ooh, I love conspiracy. They're friends too, aren't they?
Yeah, they are friends. Well, they do. They do a show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, second I get out a beer to drink while we are online, I've been called to work. So I'm going to work tonight, which means I'm not going to drink a beer on this stream.
Fair enough. Hey, at least you're going to get some work.
Yeah, that's at least something. I'd wish it was more permanent. I have to say.
At least it'll help a bit with the depression, though. The fact that you're actually doing something.
It'll help a little. Yeah, it will.
That's good.
Yeah, that's always a positive.
But actually, But I think I will have to prepare a little for that, which means I'm going to take a nap now, because then I'll be sure to be able to work for 8 hours tonight. So it's a night shift. So thanks for having me, Jeff. Oh, he's away now.
He is.
Thanks for putting up with me, everyone else. So see you.
Good to see you again.
Lovely to see you all. Yeah. Bye. See you.
See ya. Well, panel members are dropping like flies now. There's only 3 of us, given that Jeff's away.
We have been going for over 2 hours now, though.
That's fair.
I have another class.
I know why you don't know. I know why you don't know Amanda, but I can probably invite you into the group now, because I think the people who had you blocked in the other group have actually left the group. We lost Jeff.
What did I just say?
Hang on a second. Let's see if I can get you in there.
It's okay if you don't know of me.
No, I don't know. Did that work? Yes, it did.
Hey.
All right.
Unfinished business and GIMP masks?
What?
And there you go. I pop out for 2 minutes, and two people left, and then my internet dies. It's like, no. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna start wrapping this up in a bit, because we're coming up on 2.5 hours anyway. We've been going, so might start just slightly winding this up. So I don't know if when I go around, people got some stuff to plug at all. I'll start with you, Sam.
About the same as yesterday. I worked out what my next video is. It'll be out in the next couple of weeks.
Cool. Okay. Want to drop any hints or?
So it's basically going to be. Listen, niche identities are fucking exhausting. It's not quirky.
Okay. Jen.
Okay. I may not be on Six Pack Friday night. So Amanda's going to have to keep those boys in line all on her own. I'm sorry, Amanda. I know how hard it is.
Especially at 5:30 in the morning.
If I am there, I'll only be dropping in for a little tiny bit because I'll be knackered. But the Saturday week, not this Saturday, the one after, I've got Conspiracy Cats on for doing a Stump Gen, where we're gonna just he and I will have a big talk at the beginning of have a bit of a talk at the beginning of it and discuss.
I love Cats.
And then I'm going to bring some panel members in and we can take some questions from the floor.
I said I think I said yesterday.
Yeah, I think you've already put your hand up as a panel member.
Yeah, as have I.
Yeah.
No, no,
you're working.
I'm working, but I just say I think when Conspiracy Cats actually subbed to my channel, it was like, oh my god, praise from Caesar sort of thing, you know. That was
I love Cats.
He's brilliant. Amanda.
Sorry,
you don't done
Mel coming on as well. So.
Oh, brilliant! Mel's cool.
Mel is awesome.
Mel is awesome. Sorry. You done, Jen? I'll see if Amanda's got
I'm done now. That'll do.
You got some stuff you'd like to plug?
I don't know. Just a creaky blinder thing. Hopefully, we'll get settled. And Dark Matter and I'm doing my fracking video. Trying to work on that, but it's there's just so much fucking going on, like with work and kid and all this shit. So it's taking me a bit longer than normal. And
that's fair.
And then Dark Matter and I are working on our next secular Sunday service. I don't know what it'll be about, but it'll be this month sometime.
So you got Creaky coming on? Did you say, or you doing something with him?
Yeah, we just haven't settled a date yet. It might be this Friday, but I'm not sure. But yeah he's coming on at some point.
So I've got one word to say to that: tidy. I love Creaky's awesome as well.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. That's it. I'm not doing too much with my channel at the moment because I've had a rough few months. So
yeah.
Just trying to get by if I can.
Well, as far as me, not this weekend after Hissy the Asterix streams again, but it'll probably be this Sunday, and I'll just let you know pretty much all you guys on the panel right now will be invited. I will do a stream. It'll be either Saturday or Sunday, probably Sunday, I don't know, but I'm going to be doing a stream because it's going to be my birthday on Monday, but because I'm working Monday, cool. I'm going to probably do a little birthday stream at some point over the weekend and enjoy the fact that I'm getting fucking old, that I'm turning 41 years fucking old, you know. So
you're fine just yet.
So
well,
you guys are, yeah. So I've got to decide on the time date. I mean, I think initially I was thinking normally in the spot Hissy and I normally do Asterix possibly, but maybe Saturday. I don't know, but.
Oh, our next book club book is we'll have a month. You'll have a month to read it if you want to read it and follow along. We're doing Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. So I want to wrap up with saying thanks to everyone who's come into this today. Yes, Donna, we're still going, but we are about to end.
Yeah.
So thanks to Sam, Amanda, Jen, Jenny, Hops Watch, Kitty, and Chad who've all come in today. some point or another. As I said, this was a little bit of an impromptu thing, just to, you know, get over a bit of lockdown boredom. I'm kind of going to be back to. Thanks for everyone in the chat. Yeah, Slim, I'll send you an invite. And Slim, I definitely I need to get in contact with you again, because I definitely want to have you on the channel because I want to start doing some interviews again. I know I talked to you about that before, but I had a bereavement about a month or so ago, which just took me out of it for. It just took me out of YouTube for a while. So a lot of the things I had penciled in, I just sort of let go. But Slim, I definitely would love to get you on, and hopefully I'll ask Manda if she's available to co-host me, because Manda and I've done some. We've a couple of times we've hosted things before. It's been really good. So it'd be really cool to have you on, Slim. So I am gonna wrap up the stream now. So we shall see you all later. You know, goodbye, everybody. Salute.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.